rustic roofing as the others, but white walls with towers that looked like they'd naturally shot up from the ground. The boulders at the base made it appear like it sat on a cliff of its own. Cars were parked around the boulder wall, each vehicle more extravagant than the next. I watched two girls who looked to be around my age, college students, climb out of a red Corvette. Their swim cover-ups fixed, they started up the long stairway that led to the front door. There was a party going on. The music was dulled by the distance. Another girl waved the other two in before shutting the door behind them. I watched another car arrive, this one an old Toyota. It drove up a curved driveway and stopped in front of the garage. A woman got out. She was wearing jeans and a polo with a business emblem over her left breast. She pulled out a black tote of cleaning supplies, and a windfall went on in the back of my mind. My dreams of swimming in the crystal blue waters of the Mediterranean Sea were closer to being a reality. If I could get this woman from a cleaning company to use my products, then perhaps I could sell it to her coworkers and her employer. I'd have enough to pay for junior year of college and so much more. I rushed towards the house, but the woman slipped through the door before I was even halfway up the long stairway to the front door. My thighs were burning by the time I got to the top. I took a moment to collect myself and knocked on the door. I waited, but no one came. I knocked again. The door was yanked open. I looked up, and up, and into a pair of the most provocative blue eyes I'd ever seen. The color had walked out of my dreams of the charming seasides and into my reality. Boundless summer skies met oceans that glittered like falling stars. My thoughts lost all basis. I fought to find my words. I'd rehearsed speeches for every situation, but with a single look, he'd ripped my words up and threw them to the wind like little more than confetti. My music faded as time seemed to stop to pay homage to this male. It wasn't every day I was convinced someone should be a model, but this guy could sell anything with just a look. His jaw was sharper than any man's had the right to be, and his short hair was mahogany dark and glowed like freshly polished wood. He opened his mouth, and my gaze went there. His lips had been hinged into a firm line when he'd opened the door, but they relaxed as he propped his hand against the frame and let go of the doorknob entirely. He took a moment to peruse me, and I let him. It was only fair, since I'd ogled him first. The skin of my neck was stinging by the time he finally lifted his gaze. I knew the moment the results came in. Humans had the terrible habit of scoring each other based on looks, and I knew I was a 10. People complimented me often, especially my clients, and while I was a pretty clever thinker and a master of my craft, when I wasn't staring at gorgeous men like the one in front of me, I was not above using my fairer assets to make a sale. I'd inherited my Irish father's hazel eyes, the corners tilted up so that I always looked like I was hiding a smile. My hair was yet another gift from my Celtic heritage. It was thick, long, and a red so deep that people often asked if I dyed it. I didn't. My mother had bestowed her ample cleavage and pair of hips that had her beating back predators since I was 15. His eyes narrowed slightly, just enough for me to know he was interested. "Can I help you?" In my pencil skirt, heels, and sleeveless pink silk blouse, I was clearly not here for the party. I looked down at where my fingers were clenching the strap of my canvas bag. The bag! My products! I snapped my chin up and spoke the lines I'd memorized since I'd started selling Leved Cleaner. "I'm Hope, and I'm here to change your life." I gave him my smile, the one that was a little bit more than courteous. He wasn't immune. I heard the wood whine underneath his hands. His body was toned.